California's state legislature has passed the controversial SB 1047 bill. Here's what happens next. Welcome back to the AI Daily Brief Headlines Edition, all the daily AI news you need in around 5 minutes. We kick off with some big news today where in California, the state legislature has approved SB 1047. The bill has a number of different provisions, some controversial, some less so. There is broad alignment around things like whistleblower protections, but a huge amount of debate around the core compliance provisions that it puts around model creators, as well as the potential downstream implications for open source developers. The bill has gone through numerous changes and updates, and proponents of it say that it's incredibly light touch. The bill picked up some momentum this week when Elon Musk came out in favor of it, although if you've been listening to my show, you know that there are many people who are somewhat skeptical of his support, or at least see personal motivations in it. Those who oppose the bill tend to have two big critiques. One is those implications for open source developers and the potential chilling effect it might have. And the second is a more fundamental disagreement about how much to worry about AI existential risk. The bill absolutely and undeniably has its genesis in the AI safety circles, for whom those existential risks are the most important thing to focus on, while an interesting coalition of technologists on the one hand and numerous politicians in DC, including basically a big chunk of the California congressional delegation, are concerned about the bill's overfocus on those areas. Even in advance of the debate, it's clear that there's been a sense that it was likely to pass the assembly and that the real battle was to see whether Governor Gavin Newsom would veto it. In terms of process, the state Senate, which has already passed the bill, now votes again with new amendments, but this is largely considered procedural. From there, Governor Newsom has until September 30th to decide whether to veto or not. One note on the specific dynamics of the vote: while it passed with a clear majority in favor of it, 41-9, 41 out of 80 votes is actually the minimum to pass the chamber. 41 pro votes is also far below the veto override threshold, which is 54 votes. Observers noted that a lot of moderate Dems just didn't vote. This creates potential cloud cover should Newsom decide that he wants to veto. But up to now, we really don't have any indications from the governor's office around how he's thinking about this. Moving on to our next topic, OpenAI is apparently back in talks for a new round of investment. An information piece earlier this week all about strawberries seemed to indicate that this might be the direction that OpenAI was heading. And frankly, it's been long enough that just in general, it was probably a safe assumption that the company was starting to think about its next round of investment. But now, as per the New York Times, the company is apparently in talks to raise money at a valuation of over $100 billion. If that's where the valuation came in, it would be a $20 billion increase from its valuation 8 months ago, which is frankly a more moderate increase than some might have imagined at previous periods. Thrive Capital is said to be leading the round, planning to invest $1 billion or more. What's not clear is if this is just a tender offer for employee shares, or whether it's that plus a normal investment round. Some of the details, according to Bloomberg, come from a memo from OpenAI CFO Sarah Fryer, which said that the company is seeking fresh capital without giving details. Staying in startup land for a moment, an interesting little nugget out of MidJourney. The company has been rumored to be exploring AI hardware, although exactly what it's thinking about hasn't been made clear. Well, now we have some confirmation, as MidJourney tweeted yesterday, we're officially getting into hardware. If you're interested in joining the new team in San Francisco, please email us. Making light of the number of companies trying to create some sort of AI pendant wearable, Christopher Fryant tweets, "It's not going to be a pendant, right? Please say no." To which MidJourney responds, "Not going to be a pendant." Alas, for now, that is all the information we have, but I'm interested to see what you guys think. Use the comments to share what type of hardware you would like to see from MidJourney, and maybe also what type of hardware you think it might be. Another AI unicorn, Scale, made news with a recent round of layoffs. According to Inc., former contractors say that more than 1,000 workers were let go at Scale via email, but Scale says far fewer were impacted. Writes Inc., contract workers at data annotation startup Scale AI were laid off Monday in a sign of persistent turbulence throughout the tech industry this year. The cuts were made quietly. According to sources who were affected by the layoffs, no official statement has been made by Scale leadership regarding the downsizing, and no additional information or context has been supplied to workers who were let go. According to two former workers, around 1,300 people were laid off, which was a number repeated in a Reddit thread about the downsizing. However, Scale AI's director of operations told Inc. that the number laid off was 61, not 1,300. So obviously quite a big difference between what Scale is saying and what's being reported, which probably has a fairly significant impact on how much to read into this particular piece of news. Lastly today, after kicking up a ton of controversy earlier this year with its ahistorical image generation, Google Gemini will finally let you create AI-generated people again. Google says that the new upgrade, which is powered by their Imagen 3 model, will be rolled out to users over the coming days, and while they hope they won't get racially diverse Nazis anymore, Google is still blocking certain types of image generation, including photorealistic images of public figures. That is going to do it for today's headlines. Next up, the main episode.